everybody! Good evening. How are you all doing on this chilly March evening? It's still cold, guys. We're supposed to be having like summertime coming up, but I'm Retro Fave. I'm here with you until the wee hours of retro tunes, retro news, retro chat, and of course retro games. Coming up on this jam-packed show, we have our regular news sections with Sam, of course. We talk to AJ, who is a game artist, and we have a look at his game that he's kindly allowed us to showcase today. We meet Sega Collection, who's going to show off their huge collection. But kicking things off, let's head back to 1992 and the release of Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. This was part of a trilogy of games. And it came out today on the Super Nintendo, way back 29 years today. Mari Yamaguchi, who composed the soundtrack, has done a fantastic job. And it certainly brings back that delightful Disney magic from all those 16-bit games. So coming up shortly, the news. But first, let's have a little tune. There you are. That wasn't Calling from Heaven. That was Treetops. So a slight error there. It's actually called Treetops. That part of the soundtrack, not calling from Heaven, as I had on the thingamabob there. So welcome to the show. If it's your first time, enjoy yourself. Strap yourselves in. We have interviews coming. We play new games. We do all sorts of things. We've got all the news sections. But before we do that. Oscar just signed their life away. Me. Thanks for the subscription, Oscar. Awesome. So have you bought anything for your gaming collection? Have you some news you want to share with the channel? Maybe you just want to say hello. Contact at retrofaith.net or get in touch with the usual social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, or use the live chat here just to say hello. When we're not doing an interview, you can use all the cool stuff that we have in the chat. There's really cool things like this. I love this. I have to play it every time. Let me give this a go. See if it works. No, that's not working. Where is it? You shall not pass. I love this. You shall not pass! Wonderful. The topic I've kind of chosen today as well to speak about is that of remakes and comebacks. Where, yeah, that's it. Get on the ball. Get on the sounds there, guys. Remakes and comebacks. So like, we've had the awesome news last week of the new Turtles beat 'em up that just looks like an amazing 16-bit arcade game, and that's on its way. And it got me thinking a little bit about sort of remakes and comebacks and reimaginings and all the things that kind of fit into that area. So obviously, recently we've had complete overhauls of games like Final Fantasy VII. Some of the Resi games have been completely and utterly remade. Things along that way. It's like, they've just taken the old game and just made it into something completely and utterly new, which is fine. But we've also had like the return of like series, like with Streets of Rage 4 and the Battletoads game as well recently, which is more like new entries into a long lost sort of series. So it kind of just got me thinking, like, has the industry just run out of ideas of like new stories, or is it just that we're celebrating and wanting to remember the games of yesteryear, make sure that we don't lose them? But then I kind of think about the modern franchises, that the big modern franchises, and the amount of like eye-watering sequels we have for a lot of these games now, like Gears 5 with number 6 on the way, like Halo's on like his 7th or 8th installment. Isn't Resident Evil on like 7 or 8 by now as well, and so on and so forth. And it just keeps on going up and up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sequels. There's nothing wrong with sequels if they improve the game and stuff. But it does make me worry. Like, we don't get that many new brilliant properties unless it's in like an indie game where it's probably not going to get a sequel unless it randomly does really, really well. But you got to look at the positives. So if we're thinking about remakes and comebacks, obviously with all the modern technology with graphics and sound and just general gameplay and things, and we've got 50 trillion FIFA games and all that, you can always make the games look better and better and sound better and play better and have bigger levels and all the rest of it. We're going to always be doing that, and that's wonderful. I watched a stream recently of a modern game that I haven't played because I don't have a new PlayStation. It's called The Last of Us. I'm sure many people watching would know what that game is, but it was like watching a film. I was watching someone. I wasn't playing it. I was watching someone play it just on a stream, just in the background as I was doing some work. And it was like I was watching it with my boyfriend, and we were both like, "Yeah, that is like compellingly amazing. The acting, the storytelling, and everything." So it makes me kind of think: are we just kind of getting to the point now where when something's going to be like a new property, does it have to be that mind-blowing and be in development for like that long? Like, we've obviously had things like Cyberpunk, which is for the most part, well, looks like it's an okay game. Is it going to get a sequel now with the shambles it's had? It probably will. But what about you guys? How do you feel about all these kind of remakes and comebacks and how do you feel it conflicts with modern gaming? Like, is there a place for this? Will this continue? Think about all the kind of games that go on compilations and stuff these days, and it's allowing people a new way to play these games. But I'm kind of asking myself, like, has the industry just run out of ideas? But let me know what you think in the comments. I know there'll be I thought comebacks were the mainstay of retired singers and comedians. Yeah, it probably is. But anyway, it's time for the news. So let me get the backbone. Let me get the backbone of the show on a call. Hopefully he's around. Our friend Sam, our news hound on the ground. Is he there? By the magic powers of technology. Hello.
How's it going?
Sam, I think you're going to have to turn your mic up quite a bit.
Oh, there you go.
In case
Testing
they
1, 2.
Can't hear you on the show. Yeah, I can hear you. Can everyone hear Sam? Do you want me to turn Sam up? Turn him up nice and loud.
That?
How's your week been, Sam? How have you been, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, good. So we've got the news set. We haven't got as a bumper news section as we had last week, because that was like a pretty mammoth one. But we've still got some interesting things to go through. I'm especially looking forward to the last couple of points. But we've got a few things to go through. So just generally... obviously, Sam, if you don't know, is kind of like one of the writers for N Europe and follows all the news and does a lot of their news articles and stuff. So check that out. If we can put the Sam, if you've got a minute there, just to put your link in the description. And there's also podcasts and all sorts of stuff. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's get to our first piece of news. So our first piece of news, if I can find the correct button, is now this is Animal Crossing again, isn't it? You've sent me this over now. Didn't we have some Animal Crossing news last week, and what's the follow-up this week?
Well, this week it's a news that Animal Crossing has sold 7 million
Wow.
within 1 year of sales. So it's its first year on sale. But not only that, it's become the fastest-selling Nintendo game ever launched in Europe.
Really? Even more than
Yeah.
a Mario game or something?
That's quite surprising. Because obviously we expect it to sell well, but to become the fastest-selling Nintendo game in Europe, that's quite a milestone, for any game.
Yeah, it's certainly. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, the game's been out for about 6 months or something, hasn't it? That's a lot of that's a lot of sales for like a game that's kind of like a kiddie Nintendo game that hasn't got like mass appeal. Because I can't imagine like sort of Xbox and PlayStation players being particularly interested in one like this. But in general, obviously that's a generalisation. But I find that staggering that game has sold 7 million. Do we know why that is? Is there any particular reason why we feel in the industry that game has sold so well?
Well, I think with Animal Crossing, it's always had quite a wide appeal. Because it's not really. It's a game that you can play, just if you're kind of casually into games, or if you're more properly into games, you've been into the franchise since the GameCube era. But it's got broad appeal, and you put a game like that on the Switch, and it's gonna sell bucket loads.
Well, I'm staggered. I mean, obviously, I knew it was a popular game because I'd seen loads of posts about it on social media, and it was obviously a well put together game. I haven't played it myself, to be honest. It's not really my cup of tea, but I can see it's just by looking at it, it's a well made game. So 7 million copies. Well, I think that's that is amazing, and the fastest selling Nintendo game of all time. So yeah, that is some big news. And it's actually nice for Nintendo to be releasing those kind of numbers. They're sometimes a little bit not slow, but sometimes you correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but sometimes they're not really all that forthcoming with information about their game sales, are they, Nintendo?
No, they haven't been in the past, but I think more recently, being the Switch has been more successful, I think they're now coming forward with the sales figures, in a more forthcoming manner. If with so many games doing well, it makes sense for them to let people know about it. But,
yeah,
this
definitely.
is particularly a big milestone for Nintendo, because for to sell that many games in the space of what's coming up for a year now is. It's quite amazing, and they've kept the content for the game fresh because they've had numerous updates. And of course, now it's coming on for a year. They're going to have loads of updates. There's been time-specific events on it for quite a while. If you like all the details, we've listed them all out on the article there.
Okay, well, people can check that out.
More to come on it.
Yeah, let's not go into. I can imagine with these sorts of. I've got some good comments about this in the chat here actually. That it was updated for its first anniversary. It's been out for a year then. So Gunblade thinks that lockdown has helped with the sales of. Probably that's helped with the sales of all games. Really, let's be realistic. With people sitting at home, they're going to be clicking on things, aren't they? Like in the same way that things like Netflix have just. I mean, they were quite big anyway, but Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that have just exploded, haven't they? Gunblade also says the best way to describe Animal Crossing is that it's a Nintendo-themed life simulation game, and it gives people social interactions that the past year might have deprived them of due to the world. Okay, yeah, I get that. So, a bit like you're living a life through your Switch. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. John Vereen, one of our guests later on, we'll have the Easter Bunny update again soon. Okay, so there's an Easter Bunny update. Well, okay, that's good. So Animal Crossing doing well. If you're a fan of that, you're glad to hear that. Our second bit of news then. I like the look of this, Sam. I like the look of this Super Bomberman. I'm a huge Super Bomberman fan. From SNES, Mega Drive, Saturn, and everything. Tell us all about Bomberman. What's going on with this? Bomberman Online.
Well, Super Bomberman R Online is the online-enabled and enhanced version of the previously available Super Bomberman R, and that's now coming to the Switch.
Okay.
But this version of the game has previously been released on Stadia, I believe, but it's now coming to other platforms, so it's getting a wider audience. All of the DLC from the previous versions can be obtained, but the game can be played for free, so long as you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's
Okay,
an
so yeah.
interesting way
Oh, do
to
you know what?
roll
That
it
might
out.
be a purchase. When's that out?
They didn't actually give specific details.
Oh,
I would wager that it's either out now or out soon, because they just put out a press release and they didn't have any more details other than that. I did have a look on the eShop on the website, and all that was coming up was the original game. So I think
okay.
there's a possibility it's either on the eShop or it will be soon, because they're
Okay.
pushing it as a free game. But then if you buy the premium pack, which is about a tenner, you'll get lots of skins that were released. So obviously it was released by Konami.
Hmm.
So that means you got all the skins are based on classic IPs. So you got Castlevania,
Wow. Like Metal Gear
Gradius,
Solid
Silent
and
Hill.
stuff. Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That'd be well cool. Running around as Snake, throwing bombs out at little Bomberman people. I think that'd be amazing. Or running around as Dante or something, just like whipping a bomb out. Yeah, okay. I like the sound of that game. You know, I'm going to check that out. Do you know what? That could be a bit like the Turtles game for me. Like when I see that, I might just dive on it, no matter what it is. So yeah, okay. Thanks for that. So that's a good. I'm a big Bomberman fan, and do you know what? If I find a new Bomberman game to play, that could be something we play on the stream. Because I am, especially if it's online, and we could have a few of us all playing
yeah.
it together, like in a group. That would be amazing.
I think
Right.
the
Okay.
online is a big part of that, because obviously Bomberman. You mentioned Bomberman. The first thing is multiplayer.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way to revive
Yeah.
the game.
Definitely, I love that. I love the artwork on it as well. It's really reminding me of like Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, Gunblade's right. They
Yeah,
haven't
it
had a
is a bit.
decent game of Bomberman in years. Yeah, yeah. No, the best one I've ever played was the Saturn one. I don't know why. It just
Oh,
ran
Saturn
really
Bomberman.
well. The music was awesome and brilliant. But yeah, okay, guys, Bomberman. Oh, get that on your list. I've got to get that on stream, I think. Right. Any more news on Bomberman, or are we moving on?
No, there's a few more details. It was just, I think it's basically just trying to sell you the $9.99 premium pack, because it says at the bottom there, it says, while anyone in the world can jump into a Battle 64
Yeah.
room, the premium pack allows players to create their own private room match with rule sets that include Battle 64 mode, standard mode with up to 16 players, or Grand Prix, which divides players into two teams of up to 3 versus 3 to compete in earning points with the highest point total after the 2
Whoa.
battle round wins. So
That sounds
plenty of
really
options.
good. Oh wow! I really want to play that now. Like I'm hoping that's either out or out really soon. No, that's excellent. Wow. Okay, that could be one for streaming. What's next on our list? Worms Rumble. Now this isn't a new game, is it? This isn't a new game, but
No.
they're re-releasing it or something? That I remember seeing your
Yeah.
notes. So what's happened with Worms
So
Rumble? Because this game
Worms-
came out a while ago, didn't it?
Yeah, so Worms Rumble has previously been released on other platforms, but it's now coming to the Nintendo Switch this year. But obviously the popular multiplayer game, which has a long-standing history across many platforms,
Yeah.
brings back the trademarks Worms gameplay, which many gamers have experienced over the years, except in this iteration, everything's in real time.
Oh. How does that
So
work
it
then?
doesn't seem to be turn-based anymore. I'm wondering that.
Oh, well, if they no, hold on a minute. They can't change the mechanics of Worms. You can't just be like, oh, all of a sudden, it's going to not be turn-based. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like
Well,
the sound of that.
it is quite a change. I mean, there's a few extra details here, but it's
Yeah.
that they're really trying to sell it. It says Worms Rumble is Worms like you've never played it before, with intense real-time arena-based first-to-player cross-platform combat. Get ready for deathmatch and last worm standing modes, where you're only ever a holy hand grenade away from death. Use a variety of fan favorite weapons like the bazooka and shotgun, plus all new additions to the armory to bring the pain to your invertebrate opponents as you climb the ranks.
Right. Okay, well, I don't. Do you know what? I'll probably give that one a miss, just for the simple reason I don't think
Yeah.
the idea Worms for me was all about that tactics, making sure you did the perfect little jumps and backflips. Gunblade makes a good point. There hasn't really been a good 3D Worms game. I've played a couple on the Xbox. They're okay. Do you know what was a good 3D Worms game though? A basic blatant rip-off of it, but it worked really well in 3D. Hogs of War on the PlayStation. One of the PlayStation's
Oh, yeah,
best
I remember
games.
that.
Hogs of War. It was 3D worms, but instead of worms, it was pigs. and it worked amazingly well. And how Worms just couldn't copy their template and do it was undeniable. I'm a bit disappointed with this news. I'll be honest. I mean, old school Sam saying there like it's like a first person shooter for Worms. So they're basically just using the Worm license to. Do you know what? Well, we'll see. We'll see though. I mean, if there's a demo, obviously give it a go. But no, I don't think that. Don't think that one is going to appeal to me. But we'll see. I thought it was like an actual new Worms game. I was getting excited. Okay, what's next? Oh, I see Neo Geo. Oh my god, tell me about Neo Geo.
Yes, this is Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1, which brings some more SNK classics to the Switch. So you get a 10-game compilation with this, and I gather you probably want to know which games are in it.
I do want to know what 10 games there are.
I've got a list here. What you've got is Big Tournament Golf. Obviously, that's a different name over here. And you've got Dark Arms.
I'm not sure on
Fatal
that one.
Fury Contact. King of Fighters Round 2. Both Metal Slug games.
Nice.
First and second mission.
Yeah.
Samurai Showdown 2. SNK Gals Fighters.
Yeah.
SNK versus Capcom, The Match of the Millennium. And The Last Blade.
Wow, I've already got a fair few of those games on my Neo Geo, but having those on... So do we know who's doing the porting? Is it SNK themselves that are porting the games, or is there someone behind it?
Yeah, I believe these are being properly ported across, because we have had a couple of these that were already released digitally, but
they're quite
they've got
good.
all 10 in a pack. Yeah, because you've got a modes where you can display it, you know, with how it would have looked on the Neo Geo screen. You can also select monochrome or color for those games that were there originally, because these are the Neo Geo Pocket games, so they're slightly different to the arcade version. So I think it's an interesting.
Oh, these games are totally different. They're just designed for like a handheld with like really basic buttons combinations and stuff. Yeah, Gunblade said we need Windjammers. Windjammers wasn't on the Neo Geo Pocket. Shame, it should have been. It would have been a great. They could have converted that lovingly. But yeah, do you know what? Do we have a price and a date or?
I couldn't actually see any price immediately, but it is more of a shadow drop. I think it's like it's just come out. I wouldn't imagine it'd be that expensive though. They're only like a few quid a game before this compilation. And there is going to be
a pound or 150 a game, maybe, so maybe about 15-20 quid, maybe. If it was more than that, I think they're kind of pushing it a little bit,
I think individually they were pushing it for about maybe £4 or £5 initially. So if you're getting discount for quantity, if they were trying to sell this for about maybe 20-25, that would probably be the upper limit I would have thought for a collection like this.
I think that's something I'm going to delve into.
Yeah, it's a good offering though, especially if you were comparing the price of this compilation to actual Neo Geo Pocket Color games.
Really expensive.
Yeah.
I bought one. The last one I bought was Cool Borders Pocket to complete my Cool Borders collection, and that cost me a stupid amount of money, guys. I'm not even going to say how much. It was just like, it's not even a good game. But I was like, I have to complete my Cool Borders collection because it's one of my favourite series, and it was eye-watering, the price of it on the Neo Geo Pocket. Okay, so guys, any fighting fans, especially with SNK Gals Fighters, that's it sounds really seedy and creepy, but it's actually a really, really good handheld fighting game. Probably one of the best handheld fighting games of all time. So check that out when it comes out. Thank you, Sam. I think we're on to the last bit of news. That looks like podcast stuff. I think me and you've got a little chat about some stuff, haven't we? So, what's your latest podcast about on the site?
Yeah, we've just had Any Cafe podcast episode 68, which has just gone up. And this episode's got a lot of talk about Turok in it.
So what's happened with Turok?
Well, I mean, it's not really, really recent, but obviously the original Turok got remade. Yeah. And I think the Switch version kind of feels more recent than the other versions, and you got the portable aspect and everything. It's just a really, really great game. There's a lot of in-depth discussion about Turok and how it was designed, and how a lot of the development team then went on to make Metroid Prime as well.
Of course, yeah.
So that's good bit of discussion in there. But the big topic in the podcast was game resurrections,
which I was talking about earlier.
Which we'd like to see brought back. So I
Okay.
thought that was a particularly interesting discussion.
What was the
Talked about
overriding
lots of
winner?
games in there. Well, I have to say the Strike series was mentioned, Desert Strike and Jungle Strike. I think that was a strong contender.
Yeah, I mean,
But
because
if you
they're
want
really
to,
strong games originally. It's like you could easily make them into like isometric 3D games quite easily on modern systems. They could look amazing as well, couldn't they? And really good sound effects and everything.
Yeah, I think if they had another Strike game, maybe give it a new setting, some new graphics, and well, as you said when you had an interview not so long ago with Tony Barnes, he said that
That's
that
right.
could be
I did speak to Mr.
be a
Barnes.
possibility.
Yeah, very good. It's all coming full circle today on the Retro Radio Show or the gaming show. Do you know what, guys? I actually need a name for this thing that I do every Thursday now. I started off calling it the Retro Radio Show. That doesn't really kind of work because we do a little bit of modern and stuff, and we do obviously talk to game devs and modern games. It's not strictly retro. It's mostly retro gaming. But yeah, I tell you, if anyone has any ideas for a name for the radio show that we do every Thursday, I'm happy to take suggestions because I'm really struggling. Normally I'm quite creative, but I'm struggling. Anyway, we were going to talk, wasn't we, Sam, about remakes again. I obviously brought it up very briefly at the start of the show, talking about remakes and reimaginings of things. And I think when me and you were sort of chatting about we were kind of saying what would we like to see come back. I think we spoke a little bit about this last week as well with the news of the Turtles game. I'm still going to stick with I'd like to see Golden Axe come back. And I don't even mind if it's like a 3D game like they tried on the was it PS2 or PS3, wasn't it? That Golden Axe Revenge Warrior game or whatever, which wasn't really Golden Axe at all.
I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't even mind if they want to try and do something more 3D-ish. But I think my big one though I'd like to see, because I think it would work so well with modern graphics and modern sound and control stuff, would be Echo, because the game on the Dreamcast was a 3D one, and that it's okay. It controls fine, and if you like Echo, you'll play through it, and it's quite good. But imagine all the water effects and that they've got nowadays, and all the splash effect. It'll just look. As Old School Sam says, he'd like to see Renegade games come back. Yeah, that's again another franchise that's kind of like just disappeared 20 years ago. What about you guys in the chat? What games would you like? Big, well, not necessarily big series, but maybe games that were really big at the time but just kind of fell away. Well, I mean, I'm definitely shooting for Echo, because I just know that would be amazing if they made, especially if Sega got one of their bigger studios to do it as well. It could be something sensational. Rise Star, yeah, I agree with Rise Star, but that was obviously like a one-off game, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, they could really make a really good 3D platform with Rise Star now. Yeah, Rise Star possibly. I kind of think as well, they've obviously did an update. I would have said Killer Instinct, but obviously they did a revamp of that, fairly recently, which was quite good. We've got some here. Dizzy is back though. There's a new Dizzy game out, isn't it? Gunblade. We had this on the news show a couple of months ago. There is a new Dizzy game. It came out in I want to say January. There is a brand new No, it was made by the Oliver twins. Gunblade. There's a brand new Dizzy game.
Have been rather prolific in the past few years.
They've been making a lot of stuff.
Quite a few Dizzy games. I think a lot of them they had the original code for in their loft, and they were pressing them to original NES cartridges and everything. Yeah,
no, that's it. There's loads going on. Right, Sam. Unfortunately, we've run out of time for the news because I've got to get my first guest on. So,
no worries.
As always, my friend, thank you very, very much for helping us through the news. And great stuff. Again, I've learned a lot. I've learned that I want to play Bomberman. I don't want to play Worms. I really want to play Neo Geo Pocket on my Switch. And this idea of remakes, it's going to be in my brain for a while, I think. I might do an article about it. But Sam, my friend, thank you very much. I must press on. Fantastic job. So thank you from me and everyone who's watching. Cheers for rounding up all the news for us. I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, see you later, buddy. Right, guys, what's next on the list? It is This Day in Gaming. So, just before we have our main interview of the evening, and we've got we've got a game to play and an artist to speak to. It's going to be a cracking interview. Released today in Japan in 1994, Vampire Killer, or Castlevania Bloodlines if you're in the USA, or on Castlevania New Generations if you're in PAL regions, including Australasia. So it's the epic vampire story continuing. Castlevania, I'm not going to go through what it's all about. Don't forget your snorkel. What's this? I'll give it a look. 4 golden coins. Oh, right. They're having a chat in there. So this was the first one on the Mega Drive, though. The story continues, but it's a bit more like a side tale, like a side quest set around World War One and trying to stop World War One. It's widely considered as one of the best Mega Drive games. By a lot of people really like it, and it definitely pushed Sega's Agents console to its max. But it was, most people know Castlevania mainly from the NES and SNES, and there was a couple of other releases on some more obscure Japanese systems. But it was good that Sega finally got a go, and it was well worth the wait. It was well worth the wait. So anyone that, this game now costs a lot of money on the Mega Drive, no matter what region you buy it from. So probably would recommend that you check out like the Castlevania pack they have. I think there was on the Switch and the Xbox and all that. There's a Castlevania, and I'm sure that game's on it. But it's not really been a fave series of mine. I've always found Castlevania a little bit slow. But this one, and it's not because I'm a big Sega fan. It's not just because it's on Sega. But I found this particular one a little bit faster and a little bit more going on. And then more compared to the SNES and NES ones. But obviously it's a great series. So there was an interesting fact I picked up when I was researching this for this part of the show. Composer Michiru Yamane, she felt that Konami put her under too much pressure while she was working on the score for this. But I think it turned out very well. So I listened to a lot of the tunes on this and picked one out for us to listen to. So let's sample some Castlevania on the Mega Drive, and that will give me just enough time to get my first guest all set up and ready, so you guys can enjoy some Castlevania, and I'm going to get our guest who's sitting in the green room, the virtual green room, from behind the scenes. So I'll be back in a moment, guys. Enjoy the tune. Hello people, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the show there. Right, let me sort this out, because as much as this is AJ, now many of you keen-eyed people will recognise AJ from when he showed us some game collection stuff. Let me find out. Where have I put his thing? His zoom, that's it. So I need to make AJ a little bit smaller so we can see his game. No, we do want to see him. No, there's AJ. So AJ, how have you been, my friend? And you just told me as we were going through, you've got Castlevania Bloodlines to show us.
Yeah, since you were talking about the music from that game, I was like, yeah, I've got it sitting right here in the game room.
Awesome. Right, so AJ was the writer on a game. This is quite a good story, actually, how we've got AJ on the show. AJ wanted to show me some Zelda stuff, which we did at the collector's chat thing that we do towards the end of the show. And towards the end, as I was chatting to AJ was like, oh, I love my Zelda, all that stuff going on. And then suddenly AJ goes, oh yeah, and I helped make a game. I wrote on a game. It's like, what? Why are we talking about that? So a few weeks later, here we are. I've got the game. It's called Piggy Ball. So let's load that up if we can. Let's see if that loads up. Hopefully, I haven't played it. I haven't touched it. I downloaded it the other day, and that was it. Oh, and there's a oh. Is that like Hold on, let me make you big again on the screen. Is that like a physical version?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Limited Run Games did a physical version for the PS4. Probably only in the US, I think, but I wanted to have a physical copy because almost everything I work on is digital only. Yeah. So I want to have a copy I could put on the shelf and actually display, hey, here's a thing that I worked on.
Yeah, why not? I agree. Why on earth don't you? Oh, that's amazing. Well, do you know, congratulations then. Just before we start, how does it feel then to know that you've made a computer game that you're now holding in your hand? How does that feel?
Yeah, that is completely amazing. I did not think that would ever happen in my life. Like, working on games at all is very exciting, but the fact that, like, there's an actual physical thing out there, like you could, take the disc and put it in the system and play it is fantastic to me.
That is amazing. I'm really jealous. I mean, I haven't got the skills to design games, or I haven't got no artistic skills or anything. I could, maybe write a bit for a game, but I think that's amazing. I'm quite happy to sit back and listen to other people's stories of making games. So that's a question I always like to ask of someone that's made a game, because it's like, how does that, it's like if you wrote a book, isn't it? You'd be like, you can walk into like a shop and be like, I made that, and it's there, and people can pick that up and have a look at it. But wonderful. So I don't know what this game is about. When I do these, AJ, I purposely never play the game, and I try not to read anything about it except for some basics, maybe, just to get a look at it. So let's time look. So you were the writer. So maybe just pick me up from the start then. So how did you find yourself involved in this game then? Maybe just where does your story for it start?
Gotcha. So I'm friends with the guy who developed the game, Nathan Fouts. It's Mommy's Best Games that created this. And actually, we've been collaborating for about 10 years. So I've worked on 4 different games. I worked on Weapon of Choice, which came out on Xbox 360 and PC.
Wow.
I worked on Explosion Aid, which came out, same thing, Xbox 360 and PC, and actually today just released on Switch, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
Oh,
that's
couldn't be a better time to plug it, could it?
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect timing. And then I did a Serious Sam game, which I'm a huge fan of Serious Sam, and I actually got to write a Serious Sam, like a 2-dimensional side story for Serious Sam. And then I worked on Pig Eat Ball, was the next one.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was another exciting. Like Serious Sam, I never expected to get involved in anything around that. It's a fantastic first-person shooter series, like total popcorn shooter, lots of fun, big open environments.
Yeah, old school.
Lots of good humor. Yeah, totally old school. And we loved the games, and we got a chance. The publisher got a hold of us about working on like a 2D version of Serious Sam. It's a side-scrolling shooter like Contra. And so we worked on Serious Sam Double D and Serious Sam Double D XXL, which is an updated version of that, which is also exciting. And they did that. They put that out in a compilation. So on Xbox 360, there's a Serious Sam 1, 2, and 3, and then Our Game. So it's technically a physical copy of Our Game, but it's part of a compilation. So
that's okay. You'll live with that. You'll live with that.
Yeah. Up till then, I was like, look, I've got a copy of my game, but like now I've got like an actual, like a real copy of a real game that I worked on. It's all mine, or all ours.
Oh, that's incredible! Wow, what a story. So obviously, what we're seeing now in the game is obviously what you've written, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So do you want to just quickly catch us up with what this game's about then?
Absolutely. So this is King Cake, and he's sitting on his contemplation sofa, He is a very aloof ruler of a space station kingdom that's populated mostly by pigs. In fact, Bo here is the princess, and it's kind of a classic tale where her father has decided that she's going to get married off, and he's going to have these royal games, and whoever wins the game wins the hand of the princess. And of course, she puts on a disguise and decides to enter the game herself, so she can sort of win her freedom.
Whoa. I like that. I want to win my freedom.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So the king is, like I say, he's very aloof. He's kind of somewhat inspired by the King of All Cosmos from Katamari Damacy, where he's just kind of, he knows what he's doing, but he's kind of in his own little world most of the time. And there's a villain who you'll meet later on, who's the dean, who tries to thwart him and overthrow him from being the ruler of the space station.
Am I being sick here? Am I throwing up? Royal Clam.
You are going to throw up a lot in this game. That is a primary gameplay mechanic.
Right.
So if you're sensitive to barf noises, you might want to turn the barf volume.
Oh, I'm alright. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Right. Right. Okay.
So these clams give you, like, here's the mission you're going to go on, which is usually to eat tennis balls. And
I can hoover them up.
Yeah, exactly. You suck them up. So you basically suck by default, and I think there's a don't suck button if you want to stop sucking. And then when you get stuck, you barf out the ball. So as you eat, you get fatter and fatter and fatter.
And I get stuck. And I got oh wow!
The balls, and then you re-eat them because you still have to collect them all.
Okay, this is different. I wasn't expecting this. This is great.
Very, very different.
I like this already. This is interesting. I only got okay. I did okay. I got a bronze. Not too bad. Not bad for first go. Right, play.
So yeah, you have to win 3 medals, and then you get the clam's pearl. So that's kind of the currency. It's the space station runs on pearls, so you're getting pearls as prizes from the clams.
I'm with ya. Oh, I like this. And then B speeds. Okay, it speeds me up.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh no, then it all blew up. I can't do that indefinitely. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you eat a whole bunch of the barf balls, you'll get sick again and barf them back up. So if you eat 3 barf balls in a row, you get sick and rebarf.
Okay.
But you can still eat very quickly and still finish the level.
Wow. Okay. Oh, there's enemies in this one. Look. Okay. So.
Yeah, and prior to this, the games that we worked on were mostly like shooting, blow up explosions and guns and all that stuff. So this is more of a family friendly. So it's more inspired by like Nintendo games. So when I was working on the script, I looked at a lot of the dialogue from like Paper Mario. And the Densetsu no Staffy series, which is also known as Legendary Starfy, just because there's so many like little silly characters in there, and we wanted it to have like a very lighthearted feel, so you're just kind of going in to have fun. Some levels are challenging, but for the most part, we wanted a first-time player to be able to get in and be able to beat a lot of the opening levels without really getting stuck too much. But I want to say there's over 200 levels in the game.
So really?
Yeah. Tons of environments.
This is good. I mean, I love things like this. Like, I genuinely love just games with full of mini games. I'm like a massive fan of that, like California games and all that kind of stuff. So anything like that where you go around doing different stuff.
Yeah. I'm
always a big fan of. So where did so obviously you're writing the story and stuff. Where on earth did you get the inspiration from?
So the fun thing about working on video game scripts is it's a collaborative process, right? So I didn't create this entire world. I kind of worked with Nathan, who kind of had a scenario in mind, and then we started hammering things out. So the notion of pigs on a space station was kind of there from the beginning, and the development on this took several years. So things changed over time. But he wanted to have a story around, like I said, this sort of aloof king, the daughter, and the space station. That was kind of set. And then we started talking about, for one, the pearls. At one point early in development, there were going to be these like pearl mines. Like there was going to be an environment where you're like in tunnels and in kind of these dark caverns. And we talked a lot from a story standpoint. It's like, well, mines don't really make a lot of sense because clams are giving you these missions, and clams have the pearls, and originally you got a pearl every time you completed any challenge. And we talked about like the economy of the space station. It's like, well, each clam should have a pearl, and pearls should be hard to come by, so that we can drive the story. Because part of the villain's story is he's worried that there aren't enough pearls to power the space station, and the king's just wasting them by having these nonsensical games, because he's not really concerned about running the space station. So that's kind of where the conflict arises. Is the dean's like, hey, you're not doing what you need to do, and if there's not enough pearls to power the station, we're all going to fall into this black hole, and so we need to, he's essentially sabotaging the space station to bring attention to the fact that the king's not doing his job. But yeah, that comes around the sort of the rarity of these pearls. So oddly, the economics of the space station ended up driving the primary conflict, which is not something we usually would go for, but it just sort of worked itself out.
That's quite deep for a game that's like a sort of kiddies game. I like that.
Yeah, and the dialogue is fairly sparse. So we talk about this all the time about, it's primarily an action game, right? It's kind of action. This one's more action puzzle.
Yeah.
And we talk about the balance, right? Because I don't want this game, and none of us want this game to be like really, really thick with dialogue. So we talked about the best places to have dialogue. And of course, every time you take a mission from a clam, that's a part where it's like, hey, I'm willing to sit and listen to a line or two of dialogue in here because I'm getting ready to go in and take these new missions. And then basically every time there's a mini boss or a boss, we've got some story elements that tie in the dean or the king. And every time you beat a world, Bo goes back to her father, the king, and kind of tells him what's going on. Like, I've discovered sabotage. So it's like the story elements are very spread out. Like I said, there's about 200 levels, and you can, aside from the clams, you're probably going through 10 or 20 levels before you see any other dialogue. So it's
I get it.
Yeah, so it's more, trying to, part of it's trying to build the world and sort of just explain what this is, and that's where, like, the clams dialogue is more about establishing like what day-to-day life is like living on a space station. So there's a lot of silly asides from them, like typical charming NPCs that you might meet in a RPG, and the serious stuff is really when you are talking with the king and dealing with the dean.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that you're more on the sort of the writing side, but I think that I really like the graphics of it. It's really colourful. I'm a massive fan of colour. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big Sega fan, just because of all the colourful games they have. I'm just sitting here watching across as I'm listening to you, and I just think this game's really. Do you know what? This is fun. This is just wow. This is just what's going on now. I like the fact that every time you go on a level, there's something different happening. I really like that.
Yeah, and then each world has its own themes. So there are challenges in each level, and then like when you go to another world, like there's a sushi themed world that's got like wasabi that's really spicy that makes you throw up. There's a sports themed world where there's like bowling balls and all kinds of different sports balls, darts and things like that. So each world introduces new level elements.
Oh, this one's hard. I think I got to kill the. I did it just about with one bit left.
Yeah, you have to eat them as fast as you can. You can actually bump the other bugs in the butt, and it'll cause them to spit up their balls, so you can collect them.
See, okay, that's cool. Main hub. Yeah, okay.
There's some multiplayer challenges in there as well, where you can kind of go.
There's loads going on here. Look. Okay, so look, I've got some extra bits here just on the map. All right.
Yes. Yeah, so the world map's fairly expansive. That's something that we kind of talked about a little bit because it was visually fairly complicated, and it was kind of easy to get lost or not know where the next level was. So one of the things we talked about was when you unlock a new area, the camera will actually pan over and you'll see sections being added, like a doorway being added or a bridge being added to another section of the space station. So you can see like, hey, there's a new area that I should go explore over there. And now you're seeing the pill bugs are playing tennis and you can just mess with them. You're just barfing over all of them.
I'm enjoying it.
they have cute reactions. If you look at them, like they get really disgusted when you barf on them and they freak out. There's a lot of personality with those guys.
Oh, I like this. This is just fun. So, who's this guy? He looks like a tennis guy. What's his problem? He looks like he's had enough. They laid him off. Oh, what? Oh,
you can actually bump the pill bugs off the edge of the space station, and they'll start floating through space.
Oh, I'm doing that. Get gold medals levels to enter.
Nathan, the programmer, also did all of the art. So again, he normally would do like really gritty, hardcore action game shooting and explosion kind of art. So this time he got to kind of mess around with the cute styles and silly reactions and stuff. Yeah.
I can see it. It's a bit like a kind of like it's got that element to it where like the overworld had its own secrets, like a Mario 64 castle type thing, hasn't it? I can see that now. What is good? Super sick. Okay. Right, let's have another quick go on the level. Let's have a look at this one. So what has the reaction been then? Like when you were really, this is obviously quite a strange game. I mean, I know a lot of indie games do lots of new things or try to be different. But what was the reaction to this? Did you get many reviews or?
Yeah, so we got mostly positive reviews. We didn't get a lot of reviews. That's one of the challenges, right? Is trying to get a good Metacritic score. You need they don't cross-platform. So if you release a game on multiple platforms, you have to have, I think, either 4 or 5 reviews per platform for the review score to even show up.
Yeah, that's
so we were getting like 80 and 90 out of 100 review scores, but not enough to where it would show up on Metacritic. So like I don't even know even today if they've got Metacritic scores up for all those. But it's like the people who played it loved it. It's hard to get the word out when it's like those aggregate sites are built around like bigger games, like wider releases.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I work with a lot of indie developers. Just without sidetracking this whole conversation, I'm not really into modern gaming. The games are too big. They take too much time after going into them. I'm much more drawn with modern gaming towards indie games like this, where I know I can pick it up for half an hour, like I would an old game, and play it, and that sort of thing. So, but the challenge, I speak to a lot of indie developers, and you've hit the nail on the head. The challenge is, you might have the best game in the world, but if you can't get that sort of bit of promotion, or just it to get a little bit of wind, if you like, on Twitter or wherever, or Facebook or whatever, it does become challenging. I do my best though. I always try when I, to always give a shout out, but it's not always possible because there's so many that come out. And I know it can be disheartening when you don't get enough reviews as well, but at least you had at least the reviews you had were positive. So right. What about, like, would you have changed anything, like looking back on it? Would you have done anything different?
I would say from a design standpoint, not at all. I mean, like I said, this development process took several years, so it's like if you look at what it was, the first couple years of its life, it's quite different. So the iterative process, I think, really honed in on what was fun about the game, and so the way it usually works, because I write reviews and cover like indie games and stuff for our website. So like I spend a lot of time talking about game design. So what'll happen is Nathan will sort of go off on his own, work on the game, and then like once he's got everything kind of working, he will then like show it to me, let me play. And usually we try to do it in person if we can, where he can actually see my reactions and see how I go. And since one of the bad things about showing your friends your work is they always are very complimentary. They're oh, it's fantastic, it's wonderful. I do my absolute best to just be as blunt as possible. So if there's anything in a game that I don't like,
just say.
I will not only say I don't like it, I will go into detail about exactly what it is that made the game not fun. And originally, the second world, so you're in the first world now, which is very like tennis themed. The second world, which is sushi themed, it completely changed the gameplay, where like these levels are very open. You can kind of do what you want to do and play in any order with very few restrictions. And the sushi areas originally were very restricted. They were almost maze-like, where you had to follow like very specific routes and kind of figure things out. And it like just sucked all the air out of the game. Like I got so used to having all this fun and running around and doing whatever I wanted, and suddenly it's like, no, you have to complete the challenge only this one way. And I just told him, I was like, I love the game until the second world, and then I don't want to play anymore. Like, I completely am turned off. The levels are too hard. The way you win is too specific.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, he went back. He had a guy working on level design with him as well, and they went and retooled every level in there and made it, made them more open and took some of the difficulty spikes out and some of the things that really, made the game feel less just, that sort of childlike glee of just running around doing silly things like barfing up tennis balls. Kind of put that back in, and that's the fun, right? He's the programmer, so I get to do the fun stuff. I say, like, I get to write the dialogue and say I like this, I don't like this, and then he's got to go as a programmer and figure out how to make the game fun. So I like that part of it.
Well, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I'm stuck here though. I'm trying to work out how do I make these. Obviously, I can't get through this gate here. I need to try and manipulate the balls to come here. This is tricky puzzle.
Right, and I don't know if I remember offhand.
No, it's all right. I'm gonna work it out. I like a puzzle. You're all right. It's, as it goes on, it gets a little bit more complicated about what you got to do or not do and stuff. What's this? If I hold this down, does this do anything? Give me like a longer reach or something. Because if I hit these and here, like I can manipulate the balls to come a little bit towards me.
Right.
So I've got to work out how I...
Oh, there's also, so a little to your left, there's a magnet inside of a bunch of glass blocks.
Ah, I didn't see that. Yeah.
If you break it, get the magnet, then that'll start to pull the balls towards you, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can
okay,
pull them towards one of the openings.
Here we go. Uh-oh, it's all gone crazy. Whoa.
You have to watch out because it pulls the spikes towards you as well. There you go. All the balls are coming in your direction now. There you go. And you have to like drag them because the balls can't pass through the purple things, but they can pass through the. So you have to like force them to drag along until they come to an opening.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is good.
It's kind of fun because I'm watching it through the delay on Twitch, so it's kind of like
yeah, you're getting it a few seconds later.
Yeah.
This is a good game. I like this. And get that to come down a little bit more. Let me go up this way and get it to move up. Ah, there we go. Look. Oh wow, that's a great level. I like that. Oh, I didn't do very well on it. Well, okay then. So this you give me the Switch edition, but looking at that, it looks like it. Is there a website that Sam, are you around? Can let's see if we can get let me get the website. One second. Give me a second. I'll make it easier for myself. What's the website, AJ?
So I believe it's mommysbestgames.com. I'm typing that in myself to make sure. Yes. So that's the developer's homepage, and it's got Pig Eat Ball right there on the front page, actually.
Guys, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you like something different, go and Oh, Sam beat me to it. Yeah, guys, if you like something different, this is fun, and it really is kind of reminding me of that almost like kind of lovely time in computer gaming where like anything was possible. I think now that developers sometimes don't want to take a risk on something like this because it might be seen as too wacky or too out there, and they might want to play it safe with the graphics. But you guys have just gone full hog. You've got a crazy world. It's not really, but it's kind of reminding me of Toe Jam and L, where there's like anything's possible in this world, and that's what I like about this game. I'm going to keep playing this. Obviously I've got to move on with my show tonight, sadly.
Yes.
But AJ, you said you worked on other games. Would you like to maybe? Are you working on anything at the moment?
I am, but I can't talk about the game I'm working on right now. So that one's still kind of top secret at the moment.
Right, but you will come back and show it to us when it's ready.
Sure, absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, AJ, thank you so much for coming back. Massive friend of the show now because you've been on twice. You get 2 points. But I'll keep in touch with you. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me try your game out. And you've got a fan in me, I'll tell you what. And hopefully anyone else that's seen it will go and check it out. So everyone, thank you from not just me, but from everyone in the chat and who's watching. Thank you, AJ. Lovely to speak to you again. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon, my friend.
All right, thanks. Very nice talking to you again.
Yeah, I'll see you soon, buddy. Thanks for that.
You bet.
So, how's that zoom? get rid of zoomies. I've got to do another zoom on. There we go. There we go. Right, how cool is that, guys? How cool is that? I really like it. I really like that game. I'm going to keep playing this like later on when I'm on my own. I like something with a bit of a puzzle where you got to kind of work stuff out, and but it's also fun. And that game is fun. It's a shame we didn't make it to World 2. But sadly, I maybe we'll play it a bit later on once we're done with the radio show. But we've got now coming up will be our second interview. So let me get the zoomy thing back up, and I can go again with Zoom. The thing about Zoom is it always resets you back to the start when it could just have you on the main. Right, that one's done. Now then, we've got something that's going to be very close to my heart. We have Sega Collection. Now, wait till you guys see the pictures on this. This is a bit like, oh my god. Let's get this going. Hopefully we can get this going. But as always, guys, if anyone watching wants to show their collection off, it doesn't matter about being big or small or anything like that. It's not about that. It's not about being big or small. It's just about what's passionate for you. What do you care about? Now, let's admit our guest coming up, guys. Coming up. Da, da, da. Hello.
Hello.
Our guest coming up, guys. Coming up. Jono, you need to mute the stream.
Hello. Hang on.
Or we'll get a massive reverb of everything. Jono, you need to mute the... There we
Try
go.
that.
That's better. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. You alright?
Oh, I'm absolutely wonderful. Thank you for coming on. So,
That's alright.
let me just get the right screen. And there you are. So, everyone, this is Jono McNeil or Joverine. Let me just... I've done something for you as well. So, you can... people can see there. Let me just make you the right side. There we go. So, guys, if you are on Instagram, Jono here is... John Vereen Super Sega and puts up lots of Sega stuff, and this is a cracking Sega collection. I'm so glad because we've had so much Nintendo recently.
I know.
It has just been Pokemon and Zelda and all this stuff, and I've got Resident Evil next week. But Jono,
it's too much Pokemon.
There is too much Pokemon, but Jono is going to save us because Jono, my days, has Jono got a collection of Sega here. I don't want to see that, John. I don't want to see Pokemon. Put that away.
I do love Pokemon. Pokemon Go.
No, Pokemon is not great. Pokemon's stupid. Right, so then, Jono, tell us about, before we get to the pictures, it's always nice just to get a bit of information here. So I've obviously known you for quite a few years now via mostly Facebook, but we obviously have met a few times at gaming events, and I know you're like me. You're just a huge Sega nut. So what is it about Sega then? What is it about Sega?
Well, I suppose it's the first console I ever played, really. When I was 5, my brother gave me one. My parents bought me Aladdin and Lion King. Sadly, Lion King is far too difficult for me. I don't know if you've ever experienced Lion King and the dreaded hyena chase and scaring the monkeys and having to run across with the ostrich jumping up and down.
It's one of those games.
Yeah, don't ever do a feed on it. You'll just end up embarrassing yourself. It's awful.
No, I've actually completed it.
Really?
I've completed Lion King and the Jungle Book and Aladdin all in one day.
Oh, crikey. Well,
I tell you what the secret of Lion King is just to like do a bit of breathing exercises before some of the levels. Like the level where you've got to throw around yourself on the monkeys. Yeah. Once you work it out in your brain, it's all right. The other levels where you got to fight the other lions, which is really difficult.
That's the one.
And then you fight, not Jafar, that's Aladdin, the Scarface. You know. But yeah, it's hard. But I'm one of these people. I like hard games. I'm the sort of person that needs to complete Toe Jam and L, which is like really hard as well. So, but anyway, let's get on with this. So Sega's just about nostalgia for you. Then it's not particularly that you think the games are really good or anything. It's just because it was the first.
No, it's just what I had. Those two, and you talked about Desert Strike, Jungle Strike.
Yeah.
FIFA 95, the original.
Yes, FIFA's awesome on the Mega Drive. Now then.
Graphics.
Guys, look at this. So, Jono, this is like an overview of your sort of like a massive big bookcases full of Sega, massive, just a whole wall full of it, basically. So, like, just briefly, because we're going to go. Obviously, you've sent me pictures more in detail, but just briefly describe what it is you're collecting.
So at the moment, well, I started probably 5 years ago seriously collecting, just before the prices started to go up. I was collecting for basically everything. So Sega, Nintendo Wii, 360, because it was cheap, and just piling and piling up games. And then thought, right, I need to stop this. Let's focus on something. So I started collecting Dreamcast, got to about 100, realised that there's only another 100 or so left to go. And so thought, right, I'm going to do this. It'll be fun. And before I know it, I was at 200 and managed to pick up the last game from a chap called Paul Villa in Bristol. Shout out to him. He sold me Moho. And then the rush from that, I thought, right, let's do Master System, because why not? And next thing I know, I'm buying bundles of 20 at a time, going to gaming shops, coming home to my wife with another pile. And then before I knew it, Master System was finished. I said, I'm going to stop. And then I attempted Game Gear, which I wouldn't recommend for anybody out there to currently attempt to collect Game Gear, not boxed. It's just ridiculous. The cheap stuff is cheap. The high-end stuff is now in the thousands, and I'm starting to bulk.
Yeah, because you're so close. So let's just go through this. And so you've got a full Dreamcast set from the UK PAL, and you've got a full
including the French exclusive Taxi
2, so a full PAL set, and a full PAL Master System. How many games away from the Game Gear then?
One. I've got one in the post, which is one of the last two. I've also got some of the Game Gear classics, the brown box, which they did for the Master System, Mega Drive, and Game Gear. They're coming. I'm missing one from that, and I'm missing a game called Power Drive, which has been on my Instagram for the last 2 years.
Yes,
and I'm also in the background doing Mega CD.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. That's one of the pictures I picked out. So, okay, so as you can see, guys, just by looking at the first picture, Jono is just all about the Sega, as am I. As you can see from behind me, I'm all about the Sega. I'm glad we've got a Sega stream on. I was just fed up of all this bloody Zelda, and I'm like, guys, you know I'm only playing. Please bring more. We love the Zelda collections and the Pokemon collections. Right,
and
so then.
Zelda.
Now then, I just wanted to get this out of the way. What's this, Jono? Jono, what's this? What is this?
Which?
You're not looking at the stream, no?
I am, yeah. Oh, that's my PS2 wall.
Why have you got that?
Because I love PS2. It's so cheap to collect for.
All right, so you got a PS2. I've been seeing you buying a lot of that. Okay, I'm not going to talk about PS2. I can't be bothered.
About 600 there.
Out of 2,000 odd, you're never bothered with the full set. Do you know Zoe Kirk Robinson? She has got 85% of the PS2 collection. She has got like something like 1,900 games or something for PS2, different games. That's insane. That's insane.
I couldn't imagine doing that, let alone the space.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's not. We'll talk about PS2 another time. I'm not interested in that. There's so many good things to look at here that the PS2 is just like, get out of my face. So let's start with Master System, because this is probably the one that is probably like the least like kind of interesting. Although they're obviously all very interesting collections. What's your favourite game on the Master System? I'll be honest.
I do enjoy playing Road Rash. Obviously the Sonic games.
Yeah, they're good.
I quite enjoy playing Buggy Run, although it's a very expensive game. It's probably the most enjoyable expensive game that I play. There are, sadly, of course, with any console, there are expensive games, and normally they are the worst ones. Yeah. So there are games like Home Alone, which is nearly £200 now. I've played it once, I'll never play it again. So there are drawbacks to having a collection or a full set, because obviously probably 50% of those games will never go back in the cartridge slot, just because they're buggy, they're unplayable. Whereas, the classics, as I say, the Sonic games, Strider, Golden Axe, they're the ones I go back to, because they're the mascots, I suppose, of the time.
They are, and they're usually the cheaper ones because they had more of a production run, didn't they? So they're really easily obtainable.
They're easier to pick up.
Yeah,
they're much easier to collect for. You don't. I only went for a full set because I'm barking mad.
Right. So
why would anyone? Why would anyone do a full set?
What's the hardest ones on the Master System to get then? Like Last Combat, one of them?
Yeah, Masters of Combat.
Masters of Combat, yeah.
Power Strike 2, and I'd say Smurfs. But then again, you can get Smurfs on eBay from Italy. He still has copies. So it's not necessarily rare, it's just expensive.
Just
It's about
expensive.
£290.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that end up in that basket of just being expensive. Like Streets of Rage 3 on the Mega Drive. It's not a rare game
Yes.
at all. It's one of the best-selling
No.
games on the Mega Drive. And yet it just goes for 100 odd quid. It's like, this is ridiculous. It's not even...
I
it's
bought
not,
that one 2 weeks ago, and it was 120, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's not rare at all. If you go on eBay and type
No.
in Streets of Rage 3, about 100 copies turn up. It's crazy.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 2 on the Master System is now nearly £200.
Wow.
And it's like, why? There's no reason for that.
That's a good game, though. The
Yeah,
Streets
it
of
is
Rage
on the
games on the Master
Master
System are actually really good. I play the
Yeah.
first one a lot.
Yeah, I prefer them to the Mega Drive.
Sam's asked, you got 2 questions here. Jono, you online after this? Who's Jelly Pop? Jelly Pop?
Oh, that's a friend of mine. Huh. I play online, we play Call of Duty. I shouldn't be admitted
Call
to
of
playing that.
Duty?
Yes. Cold
That's
War.
Yeah.
And even worse, Fortnite. I do play Fortnite a lot.
What? You're not doing yourselves any favours on this stream, are you, Jono?
No, I play it on Switch, mainly with my brother in Australia.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah, because I play with my brother who lives far away from me, and we play Sea of
Right.
Thieves sometimes on
I
PC.
love Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, on Xbox. Yeah, so yeah, I know. I do get that. It's more about the interaction, isn't it? So you're forgiven
Yes.
for playing Fortnite. Your other question.
I will get to Pirate Legend one day.
I could get it. I just can't be bothered because it doesn't make any difference to your character or anything.
No.
Hold on. You got a lot of questions. Got people like talking to you. This is strange. Have you played the Master System version Ninja Gaiden? Is it better than the NES version? I would add to that.
I don't have the NES version. I have about 10 NES games, and they barely move. They just sit on my shelf. I don't play NES. As much as that will upset Sam.
Yeah, you're about to get it now. Gunblade says, I once tried getting Fortnite, but it took 2 weeks to download. Oh, Gunblade, that's low. That's like a joke I would make.
That's a worrying sign for your internet speed.
Yeah, I would say as well. Fortnite, it took 2 weeks to download. Boo again to you, Jono. Yeah, you're just taking abuse, Jono. This has been one that I'm enjoying this because guys. By the way, I can only do this because I do know Jono really well. Like we talk like nearly every day.
Yeah,
so it's fine. So please don't think I'm just being
I do even buy the
nasty.
skins. I spend money on Fortnite.
You spend money on Fortnite.
Yeah, I bought a few skins.
Wow. I don't know what that means. I don't care.
Anyway.
Right, let's move
It
on
doesn't
then.
add anything to the game. It's just a character costume.
Okay. Now this is what I like. I like this. So this is Dreamcast full set now. I think my Dreamcast full set looks better than your Dreamcast full set. Should we have a contest? Because yours is all lined up like that.
You've got the official.
Guys, let's go on a guided tour of Faith's PAL full set, and then people in the chat can decide which one is better. So there's Jono's one, and I'm gonna make my picture a bit bigger, and I'm gonna get my camera here. I've got an extra long lead on it, so we can put it
I will
across.
be moving mine soon to another shelf.
All right, but here's my one. So we can see my one. Here, well, here's all the non-PAL stuff from Dreamcast. But look, but what do people think? I think we need to have a contest.
Yeah, yours is pretty good. I'll give you that. You've got the actual tower case things to put them in, which is quite cool.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find those. I worked it out that you'd need 23 to fit the whole
crikey.
set in. Yeah, and I've only got I've only got 6 so far. And they're not. It's not that they're expensive. It's just that they're not cheap. They're like 15 quid each, and you're like, it's just a bit of plastic, you know. You're like,
Yeah, it's the same with box protectors. I want to buy a box protector for all of them, but for 216 games.
Yeah, I'm looking at those as well. But yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, yeah, it would be not because I've only got to get one more. All of my cases are minty, except for one. When I moved my collection down to where it's being displayed now, I lost 2 cases because they're so fragile, aren't they? As soon as you move them, they just start cracking and stuff. So
I was buying them from CEX. Oh.
Yeah, and so I'm always buying choo-choo rockets, but yes, I lost one, and I've got to replace that. But the rest of them, no cracks, all hinges. I've spent a lot of time upgrading them. I must have gone through about 50 choo-choo rockets when I was doing my full
Oh,
set.
crikey.
Yeah, I bought loads. But Jono, so tell us about Dreamcast. And this was the first set that you did. Why did you start with the Dreamcast?
Dreamcast is the best console collection I have.
Yeah.
I first
Dreamcast
played
forever.
many years ago, and I played Crazy Taxi, and I was thinking to myself, I've never really heard of this. What is this machine? I'd sort of moved away from Sega, and I was on PS2 at this point, around 2004-05, because I'd received one for Christmas, and I was like, this is great. And then I never really thought about it again until about probably 4 or 5 years ago now. I picked up a few games, played Virtua Tennis, because I play tennis quite a lot in real life, and I was like, right, this game is ace. And then I started looking at some others. I've been playing a lot lately of a game called Gigawing, using the arcade stick.
I love my shmups. Everyone knows I love my shmups.
And I play a lot of Res as well.
Yeah.
Res is great fun. I can't get very far, but...
Really? Res is quite easy. Why can't you get very far on that?
I don't know. I seem to struggle. I get through a few levels and I'm so tripped out. I'm kind of like, I'm so relaxed. I don't really realise what I'm doing, and I lose track of the character. I do have more of the Dreamcast on the very top shelf. I've got like a sealed controller.
Yeah, and bits and pieces.
There's a Samba de Amigo up there and the keyboard.
Nice.
The Dreamcast gun.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Sadly,
I like to see.
I've never taken out the box.
Yeah, I've got that. I try to have everything. I've been collecting Dreamcast for over 20 years. I got one from Japan. The week they came out, I went into the import shop in Romford where I lived and said, have you got Dreamcast in yet? They went, you've got to put a deposit down, £100. When they come in, I'll call you up and you come and collect it. And I loved it. I had it from the first week it came out with Sonic Adventure, and I've never ever looked back. It's been my favourite console since day one. I've still got all my original games from the time. That's why me doing the full set was so easy, because it was like, well, I've already got half of these from way back when. It was just getting those silly ones like Moho and the Bass Fishing box set. I had one that was battered and everything. I was like, I'll get a new one of those. But I'm with you. I think Dreamcast, even though it's quite a small set, 217 games or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the style of it. It's so different. The games on it are just so arcade perfect. Yeah. The fighting games are amazing. The arcade sticks are lovely. ASCII pad, all these different accessories, and it was a time when Sega were really pushing it because they knew that this was their last chance, and they just made so many wacky accessories like the Samba de Amigos, like the maracas, the microphone for Seaman, all that stuff. It's just crazy console to play about with, and obviously we can't forget the reason why the Dreamcast is so important and why we'll always sing its praises is it's the reason why we have things like Call of Duty now. It's the reason why Call of Duty exists, because of Phantasy Star Online. It was the reason. Sega started that whole thing of getting consoles online. Consoles did kind of get online before, but not like we know it today. So, so there you go. We've got some questions here.
No bad games. That's the good, out of the 216, apart from maybe Spirit of Speed.
Yeah, Spirit of Speed's rubbish.
Aren't many.
Yeah, there's not that many rubbish games, is there? I've obviously played through the whole collection. I would honestly say that I'm not just saying this. I am obviously completely biased to Dreamcast anyway, but I would honestly say if you have a full collection Dreamcast, there's probably only about 15, possibly 20 games that are just rubbish, and you're like, I'm never going to play that again. The other 200 are actually decent games to play, and I'm on a mission to complete the whole PAL set. I mean, I don't mean complete collecting. I mean complete all the games. And I've done about 75 of them so far, to complete them all, which I just play on my own time and have been for years. Yeah. I've got some questions, Jono, just before we move on to the next collection. I've got some questions here. Gunblade says that he's only ever played GameCube version of Crazy Taxi. Well, Gunblade, you need to rectify that because it's not very good on the GameCube at all. SCG, Sam says, Faith, if you want more of those Dreamcast Tower storage cases, let me know. You've got 4 that you can sell me. I'm all over that, my friend. I'll find you something to swap with. I'll find you. I've got some stuff that I think you're okay. We'll do that. We'll talk about that in our production meeting next week. Those are some really nice Dreamcast collections. They are. Gunblade PSO was the first console online game to become popular. It certainly was. It was popular because it was great. And Z Mystery Man, what a cool name. What is your rarest and also your most expensive game, Jono?
Oh.
I know what I think. I know what you're going to say is the most expensive game that you've bought.
It's a tough one between probably 3 games on the Game Gear at the moment.
Can we get to that question in a minute then?
Yes.
Because we've not got to the Game Gear yet.
Back to that.
Z Mystery Man, stick around. We will have your question because I picked out the last picture of the collection. Is some very impressive stuff. Let's move on then. I could just talk about Dreamcast all night and people will get bored. Is there a Philips CDI on the bottom of a Sega Saturn?
Yes, I picked up a Philips CDI probably 15 months ago now, locally, for £100.
Have you played those Zelda games that you were showing me? Have you played them? Oh my God.
Zelda. I've not played Link yet. It's on my list to do.
Oh God, they're awful.
I've got a handful of games of all sorts to hand, actually.
Have you? I'll tell you what's a good game on that. No, I'm messing it up with a Panasonic 3DO. I always do this. Philips CDI. What's the tennis? Is it Pete Sampras tennis on that? What's the tennis game on it? You've probably got it. You like tennis.
I don't have any on the Philips, no. I can't think off the top of my head. I don't think I've got it in my files.
What made you pick this out then? Is it because it's just an obscure console that not many people would have had a go on?
It was obscure. It was local to me, literally 5 minutes from my house. And I just was like, right. It'd been on the marketplace for about 6 months. Nobody had touched it.
Does it work fine? I know there are problems with capacitors, those.
Yeah, this one works fine. It was an old couple in their 70s who'd had it since launch and were still playing it.
No, they
were
didn't.
Clearing the garage, and they wanted somebody else to love it, and they said no. They were happy for me to have it. Normally when I buy things, I show people my collections. They know that I'm serious. I'm not intending to sell it on. And yeah, they were delighted, and I went round there, and there was more than I thought. They had a boxed copy of Mad Dog McCree, the gun game.
Oh, what a game that is.
I've got in the box, which is very nice. As I say, both Link and Zelda. I would like to find the other Zelda game, but not at
Was there 3? I thought there was 2.
No, there's Zelda's Adventure, which is about £600.
I don't buy that, mate. They're terrible. I did as a joke. Play those on I was mucking around with someone and that. And it was just like, this is ridiculous. They were terrible.
Yeah, they're not. They're nothing like Zelda. If you like Zelda, then keep it that way. Don't play these because it will be ruined. I would like to find Hotel Mario just for the experience.
Okay. So a console, so it's obviously it's not a Sega, but it's just an interest to us. So yeah, I suppose I would say my most interesting non-Sega console that I kind of collect for. I could show off and say Neo Geo, but that's just getting silly. I would say it's the Intellivision. I really like the Intellivision. It's got a quirky controller. It's got some interesting accessories. The games are much better than the Atari 2600, which was its main competitor. And I fire that up every now and again almost because it's only RF out, so I have to use a CRT.
Yeah.
But I fire that up once in a while. I think that's my probably more interesting console that I have. Popskin UK. Hello. Right, well, let's move on then because that'd be another discussion. Now this looks like Mega CD games.
Yes.
Righty-ho. What is it about? So you're going for? Is this like another set you're trying to go for now? Is this like the next one?
I'm just collecting it on the side. I've had some very cheap deals with Mega CD. I'm actually only 29 games away from the whole set.
Okay, yeah. Because there was only about 200 games for it, wasn't there?
Well, no. In the PAL set, there's 95, not counting the Mega CD 32X.
Yeah, there's a few of those. There's 4 of those, isn't there?
Yeah.
Nice, Snatcher's a good one there. And I see Burning Rages on the Saturn. You had a question here while we're looking at this. I didn't want to ask it while because I knew this picture was coming up. But have you got the Command & Conquer on the Saturn? Someone was asking about that.
Saturn, I don't really have much of. Burning Rangers, again, is something I got 5 minutes from my house a few months ago. Someone
good game, that. It's a good game, that. That's a good.
will
I mean,
get
I'm not
round
just
to
bigging
playing
up
it.
because it's Sonic Team, but it's a good game. People are like, "Oh, I never played that one," and actually, when you play it, it's quite a short game, but it's
Right.
really good. Yes, people saying you got Snatcher. Nice. I watched someone complete Snatcher, the Japanese version, live on live on a stream. It was funny because they had to
wow.
sit there and work out all the kanji and everything. It was hilarious. It was actually a
It's
really
an
funny
amazing
stream.
game. It's very
Nice
good.
Mega CD and Saturn games to go, but I'm not going to go. I know this isn't a passion of yours, Mega CD and Saturn, so I'm not going to go too much into this
No,
because I'm
Saturn
running out of
just-
time.
I just have some Saturn. I'm
You
not
have
going to do
some
any
Saturn.
more, really.
So yeah, but you're cracking away
Give
with
it
that Mega
local.
CD set then.
Pardon?
I said you're cracking away with the Mega CD set
Yeah,
then as well.
it's not easy. I need Smurfs and Syndicate, which are both £500 games still.
Yeah.
Which kind of
Oh, well.
slows me down. And Marco's Magic Football, which is probably 300 plus now.
Yeah.
They're the last big ones. All the rest are anywhere between 50 and 150.
Now, this is for me. This is for me. Look at this Tech Toy on the Game Gear. This is lovely. Now, anyone that doesn't know, Tech Toy was Sega's distributor in Brazil. So Sega basically licensed all their stuff to the toy company called Tech Toy, and they they carried on making Sega stuff well into the 2000s.
Yes.
You know, so how have you got a contact that I don't know about? Because I thought I had everyone in in Brazil tied up for my Tech Toy
I've not
stuff.
actually put this on my Instagram either. This is the first picture I've put out there of these. There are, I think, about 65 for Game Gear.
There is, yeah.
Somebody in the group from Brazil just appeared a few months ago. I sent him a message and he said, "Oh, I can source you some games." And I was like, "Oh, great. Okay, I'll just get a small set." And he sent me all 10 of these in one parcel from Brazil at a great price. And 9 of them are complete. One's missing a manual, sadly. But it's just something fun and a bit different to have. I don't know many people that have Game Gear Tech Toy. I know there's a French collector who is got them all bar 2.
Max, yeah.
And there's only 2 people, I think, in the world that have the full set of Tech Toy Game Gear. It's
Yeah,
both in
it would
Brazil.
be. I know that Glenn is close to getting the Tech Toy Master System. I think he's a couple away, just waiting for them to pop up.
right.
But yeah, the Game Gear, the one that is
Yeah.
impressive.
And
I've
the
only
2
got
purple boxes.
I've only got
There's
the
a
one you
Sonic-
sent me as a present and another one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Tech Toy. I've got a lot of Tech Toy Master System though. I've been ploughing through those. I've got quite a lot of those now. But yeah, I mean I'm desperate to get the Sonic ones as you would imagine. But I'm not.
Yes.
You know, it does come down to. You got to do a bundle because it's coming so far, hasn't
Yeah.
it? But no, nice to see something different. No, and I'm glad you sent that over because I was like, that's nothing nice different. So yeah, anyone that's interested, you know, ask me. I know a lot about Tech Toy. I'm one of the people that sort of not discovered
That's the
it because
thing.
that sounds silly,
It's
but
hard to get it from Brazil because
it's
it's all
hard
in
to get
Brazil.
it because you've got to learn a bit of Portuguese. You've
As
got
you
to learn a
say,
bit of
bundles. You
Portuguese.
can't buy one at a time because, of course, the VAT and the shipping
Yeah,
costs.
it's just too much.
It's just,
Now then, we had a question earlier about what's your most expensive game. We're going to get to that in the next couple of pictures, but let's just look at some of this Game Gear stuff. John, I've got not hurry you up, but I've got to kick on a little bit here.
That's fine.
Tell us about this Game Gear standee. What's this all about?
so this, sadly, it needs a bit of repair. I can't get it working at the moment. So the person I bought it off, the wire for it, they pushed underneath the bottom. So I need to somehow carefully get the bottom off the thing to get the wires out to test it. It's essentially a retail shop kiosk from the 90s. It would have been in WH Smith or Boots for the Game Gear. I got it for a
that's
birthday
amazing.
present from the wife. It was local to me up in Gloucester. A chap had bought. There was a chap up in Scotland who has every kiosk under the sun for every console, and he decided to sell them all. Chap in Gloucester bought them, who I've met before, and I kept pestering him, and eventually he sold it to me.
That's
But
amazing.
it's heavily damaged. It's not mint, but I've
Doesn't
never seen
matter.
another
It's
one for
cool.
sale. So
It's cool and different. That's what we want on this show.
it stands out. It's my
That's what we
standout
want.
piece, really.
Guys, look at that. That's impressive. Right. Now then, this is amazing. Talk us through your box sets here before we get to the grand finale. Talk us through your box sets here. I really want that Sonic one on the bottom right.
So these are something I'm been working towards slowly. Then again, they're not easy to find.
No.
I've got 2 at the back for Mega Drive, which are the Lion King and Aladdin. And I've got Jungle Book and Aladdin for Game Gear. I'm just looking for the Lion King one.
Wow.
But sadly, there are 4 variants of that in different languages for
Yes.
whatever reason.
Yes.
The Sonic one I picked up at Doncaster Gaming Market, just because it's a bit different. It's essentially a Sonic sticker on the front of the large box. The 3 in the middle are all German variants that I've picked up from Germany
Wow.
on the interweb. And the one on the left came from America, but it's a British variant, and it's the Pirate TV tuner pack. Obviously, back in the day, you could use your Game Gear as a TV.
Yeah. I mean,
They released it as a pack.
I was bored during lockdown, and I managed to use my Game Gear tuner to watch a video player on it. It was amazing. I reverse engineered. You know, you got that AV input thing on it.
Yes.
I looked it up. There was a way of fiddling it around, and you could still. And I've got a video player to work on it.
Oh wow, that's impressive. I've not looked into anything like that.
Yeah,
Those
so it's
generally-
got an AV input on it, and you can muck about with it.
Right. They stay all in the box, so each box has got a Game Gear in there. Some are fully working and some are not because it's just for display. So
Yeah,
I've got-
I've got that. I've got.
Three working Game Gears.
Trying to think. Yeah, I've got my working Game Gear that's really nicely and refurbished, and I've got a few of the Sonic box set ones, and I just I mean,
Yeah.
if I ever get the opportunity and the time and the money to get them all working, I will do it, obviously, because it's a more complete collection. But yeah, I'm not fussed about it. If I've got the Game Gear in there with the game and the box, I'm done. Right, Jono, we've got one more picture, and this is the big one. This is where we're going to answer the question. It was the mystery man who was hanging about to ask what was the most expensive one, and here's the picture. Now, I was going to say this shelf has probably got your most expensive game on. Would I be right?
Yes, I'd say so. Well, the one I've paid the most for is the one in the middle of those 5. One that you've obviously recently acquired as well, Sonic Blast.
Yeah.
Although there are a few copies appearing of it now. It seems to have started cropping up in the wild a bit more. And then there's Sonic 2 in 1 to the left. And then there's Galaga 2. And I say Galaga 2 because it's recently appeared on eBay. And it sold for, well, the listing ended and then it got relisted. It didn't meet the reserve despite the high bid being just shy of €2,000.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't really know what the limit is with that one. I'd say those 5 are impossible to price. Game Gear at the moment, out of all the Sega consoles, is the one that is just going through the roof.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Better hope the wife isn't watching. I would say the same, because obviously out of those 2, I've only got the 2 Sonic ones, which I was very lucky to get from someone that pretty much wanted to donate them to my collection for a but yeah, so I won't go into the prices either, because I was astounded at the amount he wanted from me compared to what I was willing to pay. But we won't go into that. I know I recently reported on my website as a news item a Game Gear game selling the one you need, Power Drive, isn't it, for £4,000? It was just insane. And I interviewed the guy that bought it, and he just said, I just needed it for the full set. I didn't care. It was like money was no. It was almost just like it was just insane.
It's a one-off sale, I think. But then who knows? It could go, if it comes up on eBay, who knows what the price would be. I mean, I've got my budget for it, but it's nowhere near 4,000.
No, I wouldn't pay that much for a game.
I've paid over 1,000 on any game.
No,
I'd never pay over 1,000 for any game.
No, that's crazy.
It comes to a point when you've got to know when to stop.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I'm like you. I've got a massive collection of video games, like thousands of them. But I have a limit as well. And there's sometimes it's like, this is where the collecting isn't fun anymore, especially when you're going for a big full set. I know you've had times, Jono, where you've felt quite down about it, and it's like,
Yeah, it because you get so close, and you're like, well, it's only one more. If you just tick off this last one, it's like, but the other side of your head's going, yes, but think of the money. And
it's £2,000. I could buy a cheap car with that. Yeah, this is it, isn't it? It's like it is, and I'm the same. Some of the stuff I want for Sonic now. Like, people offer it to me like almost daily. I get people saying, "Do you want to buy this? I'll sell it," and it's like a £500 item of Sonic. I know it's worth the money, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm all right. It'll be nice on my shelf. It'll be really nice on my shelf because it is amazing. But you know what? I've got enough stuff now, and I'm all right. I think I'm done. Which is why I kind of want to see other people's collections now, because I think I'm personally done myself. Because I'm glad I'm out of that whole head scratching head.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, I know. I do keep buying stuff. Well,
The trouble is there's a lot of resellers now. So when I first started collecting DC, a lot of the Facebook groups and the communities were about helping each other. You know, they were doing friendly prices. Now, a lot of the stuff is the same price as eBay.
yeah.
It's like, well, if you want to sell it to that price, put it on eBay.
Yeah, well, I'm a dirty
Very
reseller now.
difficult
I'm a
to
dirty
get.
reseller now. I've got to put my hands up, and I don't mind admitting it. I'm a dirty reseller now.
But you're all right because it's Japanese
Slightly
stuff.
different because I'm
Fine.
importing it from another country
Yeah.
to sell. Yeah, I'm not just buying big lots
So
in
it's
the
not,
UK.
you know, your
Yeah.
stuff isn't that easy to pick up, so you're actually helping people.
I
whereas a lot
am,
of stuff-
and I do get things for people who like. Thank you very much. I've been trying to get this for years.
Yeah.
Jono, I've got to leave it there, my friend. Because
all right.
the show's an hour and a half, and I've gone way over my time.
Right.
But thank you very much. So yeah, Jono,
That's
thank
all
you.
right.
I'm sure I'll speak to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
have a
see you at
catch up.
Comic after, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'll see you later, my friend. All right, see you later.
Yeah.
Thanks for that tonight. That's amazing. Bye bye. Guys, how impressive was Jono's Sega Collection? I'm just like, wow, that's just incredible. Let me just close all that Zoom stuff down. Yeah, well done, Jono. I'm saying, do you know what? From me, a big clap from everyone watching it. I know Jono said he was nervous before he started, but I think he handled that like a pro. And I think, you know, he knows his stuff. What about you guys, though? If you want to show me your collection, you're more than welcome to. It's not about being big or small or all minty or all box fresh and all that. If you're passionate about it and you care about it, I want to hear about it. All you got to do, get some pictures to me. We'll organise a time. As long as you've got a webcam and a mic and you can come on a Zoom call, that would be it. Yeah, I don't want to see a mess, Jelly Pop. I want to see something at least I can see. Dark War Pirate, right? That is Sonic Blast. I nearly got one on eBay last year. Dark War Pirate, yeah. There, if you can get one, mate. If you're going for that, that PAL Dreamcast set. Actually, Dark Water Pirate. I've got all three versions of Sonic Blast from America, UK, and France, and Japan. They're all sitting behind me lovingly in their little boxes. But guys, that's amazing. Also, if you're a game dev and you catch this stream and you want to show off your game, like we had today with AJ, you've got to do it. I love showing those games. How great was that game? That game is just fun. I can just say that. I can say that honestly. I've still got it loaded up on my Switch now. You can see. So I'm going to be going back to it. It's there on the Switch. It's loaded up. We're going to be playing some more of that. But guys, this is the end of the radio show as it stands. I'm going to stop the stream, but I'm still going to be here. We can maybe play a little bit of game for a while. What do you guys think? So I've been Retro Faith. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it retro.